Hello, welcome to the City of Healing, where the city resides within. This is Sanette Natura Angela, and I hope that you all are having a beautiful Saturday. It's been quite busy here, but I wanted to come forth and do a brief share. I could not go without mentioning, even though I didn't mention it then. I journaled about it, I thought about it, I had great contemplations about it, and that is the solar eclipse on July the 2nd, 2019. And my expectation was that it was going to be sort of like the solar eclipse in August of 2018. I believe it's 2018. Anyway, I shared that story and the profound experience that I had with it. It was very spiritual. There was a great connection. There was a great amount of focus done with me in regards to my spirituality and purpose, and it was a lot of growth there, and it was a lot of great connection with ancestors. So it was very profound, very deep, and I expected that this one would be the same. And leading into the days towards the solar eclipse, it wasn't the same feel. I guess being that it was a different season, it was totally different, leading into the solar eclipse. And so when July the 2nd came, I thought maybe, I will finally get that eerie, mysterious, spiritual feeling that I was anticipating, and that lesson that I was going to learn, and that connection with ancestors or whatever was happening, this great knowledge that I was going to obtain. So I was so much looking forward to that. And that morning, I found that I did not feel the same way as I did with the previous total solar eclipse. Also, this was a new moon also. So all of this, and I wasn't feeling like I anticipated. And so I went for my walks, as I usually do, my morning walk and my afternoon walk, and it was hot that day, 96 degrees. However, it felt maybe like 20 degrees hotter when I went for my afternoon walk. And the solar eclipse was supposed to happen around 3:15 for us here, even though we weren't going to see it like we did with the previous August solar eclipse, total solar eclipse. It was in South America, Chile. And we weren't going to see it here, but we can still feel the effects of it. It's still going to affect the earth, the same, but on different levels and different ways. So I was expecting, something intense, and it wasn't happening. I was a little disappointed, and I was waiting for that feeling, and it did not come. However, when I went for my afternoon walk, like I said, it felt like 20 degrees hotter. And it felt so intense. It felt heavy. It felt draining, of course. And I've spent a lot of time in the sun, mind you. And I remember, digressing a little bit, when I was younger, we spent all day outside. So I know what hot feels like, but this was a different kind of hot. But anyway, it was penetrating, as if something was being pushed into. It was sort of like copulation, so to speak, without saying, not with me, but with the feeling, this intense pushing into that I felt. And, the air was tight, it was humid, it was that total hotness, and I was like, if this is what having a stroke feels like, before it actually happens, this must be it. But anyway, it was very intense. I barely could make it back to, my workplace, because that's how tight, that's how much force and strength that I felt from these rays of sun beaming down on my body. It was just basically almost too much, dangerously hot. It wasn't the normal heat. It wasn't the normal sun. It was like multiplied. And when later on I went to look at different people's analysis of the solar eclipse, and I really didn't see that many. I looked, but I wasn't looking that deep, and I did not hear a mention of anybody associating how hot it was with the total solar eclipse. But I totally so much did, because, you know, the intensity, you know, even though we didn't see it here, it's not always necessarily what you see with your physical eyes, but, you know, I'm more clairvoyant than, you know, what I feel, you know, than anything. But it felt like something was being pushed into, you know, the earth, you know, into the cores, into, you know, out into the atmosphere. It's like something was being rejuvenated and refreshed and placed here, you know, like a egg, you know, for development, you know, without lack of better words. This is not rehearsed, so this is basically raw, my analysis and my feelings about the solar eclipse and the new moon on July the 2nd. But anyway, my feeling is that something was placed here, and is for rebirth and rejuvenation of our planet. And, you know, I've heard different people, even though I haven't, you know, studied or looked into it much, talking about, you know, the 3D, the 5D, but it felt like basically a jump. It was extra energy, extra force, you know, for us to use so that we can evolve into our next stage of rejuvenation of our generations as we grow and reach the epitome as we remember and become who we are sent here to be. So this was a very powerful solar eclipse, even though there wasn't a lot of talk that I saw about it. It was a very powerful new moon, because it's the new beginning. It's an egg. It's a fetus. It's repowering, rejuvenating, so that we can evolve and make things happen for us, you know. And a lot of people say, you know, everybody's evolving so that we can be on the same level. Of course, yes, we are. And there's no such thing as, you know, everybody is doing this and competition, because we are all sent here to be great, period. You know, nothing less. That is the expectation of why we're here. We are creators, and, you know, we as women, you know, we have a womb. That's our creative, our physical creative element or chakra. It's a chakra too, but it's our creative zone in our bodies, not where we actually create children so that they, you know, they're born there and they grow there until they're actually born into this world that we are sent here to experience for this short time. You know, I like the saying, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a great time. And that's what it's all about, you know. And that's what I wanted to share about this powerful solar eclipse, this new moon, is that something else was pulled down, pushed down, and you know, it was more than just the sun. You know, it was something powerful that was given to us, and what it is, I don't know, but it's something else. You know, they say the solar eclipse is a portal, you know, in which, you know, there's opportunity for metaphysically speaking, spiritual well-being and spiritual growth is to happen. And I'm glad that I actually got the mind frame to think that way, because if not, I would have just thought that it was just another, you know, hot day, and it was much more than that. We are in the midst of a great rebirth of this earth. Not, you know, we're going to be destroyed or anything like that, but the Son, the Father, you know, made it with his woman, Earth, and we're going to continue to bloom, evolve, and become our greatest versions, our beautiful selves, our beautiful flower, a beautiful earth, green, beautiful is what we are. And I just wanted to come forth. I don't know if I explained that well. Like I said, it's not rehearsed, it's raw, my feeling about it. I wanted to make sure if you didn't think of it that way or experience that way, that, you'll consider, even though it wasn't something that we saw, it still happened for this planet. And we're here, like I mentioned before, when I did a meditation, you look back when you go out into the galaxies and the Milky Way, and you look back and we're just as small, we're here. And also, the earth is a living organism. The universe, the galaxy, and beyond are universes, and universe inside you. We all are a universe, and our cells are alive, and they have a little world just like we have a little world as well. So if you really think about it, your cells have their own responsibilities, like we have our different responsibilities, and we respond to the earth in different ways. And different planets are different chakras of the universe, like we have different chakras in our spine as well. So I can go on and on and on about that, but I believe it's a beautiful thing that this earth is alive. It's a living organism, and she has different parts, as well as the universe has its different parts, and it goes on and on and on, down to the minuscule of who we think we are physically. We are all spiritual beings, as we all know, having a physical experience, and it's a beautiful experience. My expectation is great, and this solar eclipse is evidence of that. And I don't know if you all knew before or saw before my talk about finding those books from King Tut, a reminder that we are infinite. And so is gold, so is our treasures. It's all ours to have. Anyway, enough of rambling on. Just wanted to make sure that I would come forth and share that very spiritual, beautiful experience of the solar eclipse and the new moon on July the 2nd, 2019. Anyway, thanks for visiting the city, and I hope you all have a beautiful Saturday. Take care.